Hi, let's take a look at transport navigation with Cubase and Nuendo, starting with preferences. I have a Nuendo 7.1 project open here with multiple folders, multiple marker tracks, and multiple rulers. If I go to Nuendo preferences here and select transport, I can choose the cursor width. I have it set to number 2, but you can make it bigger or smaller. I have return to start position on stop, which is checked. And you probably want to assign a key commands for that because sometimes you want the cursor to return to a start position. Sometimes you want to keep going, depending on your project. Also have stop after automatic punch out and stop playback while winding checked. Assigning a key commands for those two functions also would be a good idea. And finally, locate when click in empty space is also checked. So if I apply these preferences here, I can then zoom within the project here and click anywhere to recall my cursor. Pretty handy feature. So with Nuage, we have a scroll button located in the transport section here, which I can activate and control the lateral movement of my project window here. I can also adjust it vertically by pressing and holding the Alt button, just like that. So now I assign a soft key to a C2 under communication, so I can now activate or deactivate transport return to start position on stop. So if I play something, stop, it will return to the start position. If I deactivate it, I can just play, stop, and we'll stay in that position. So now let's take a look at the custom transport panel in Cubase and Nuendo. Under transport panel is our transport panel default settings with all the transport buttons, play, stop, records. We also have the pre-roll and post-roll positions you can engage. You can customize it and add or remove some of the functions. If I add the jog and scrub, I can then shuttle my project at different speed. I can also scrub or move the cursor, nudge it one frame at a time, forward or backward. You can also use the play tool in the toolbox up here. If I select the play tool, I can actually place it on top of an event and just hear that event. It's actually soloing just that event. So very useful for sound design because you can have multiple sound, on top of each other, and then you're not quite sure what's doing what, and so you can quickly go over each sound and see which could be added or might be problematic to the effect. On the Nuage master unit, you have all your transport functions: stop, play, record, rewind, fast forward. We can change the speed by pressing and holding the shift button and go much faster, rewinding, forwarding. So I have a shuttle button. Once engaged, you have different speed you can play your audio with. You can also scrub. You can also easily play just an event on track. So if I select an event on this track here, I can simply solo that track and play it. You can also use the transport on the touchscreen on the main tab. Rewind, play, stop, set to locator left or right, pre and post roll, on and off, cycle, record. Essentially, all the main function of your transport panel are available on the touchscreen. Okay, let's take a look at some of the key commands available for transport navigation in Cubase and Nuendo. Under File, Key Commands, look at the transport folder. We have locate next event N, locate previous event B, locate selection L, locator to selection P, loop selection Shift plus G. So I can use the N key to move from to the next event, beginning of the event, end of the event, or B to previous event. You can click on an event, push L, and bring the cursor at the selected event. I can use P to move the locator to the selected event. And I can use Shift plus G to play in loop the selected event. So Shift plus G will bring the locator and we'll play that event in a loop. So let's take a look at some of the function of the locator. You can draw a selection by placing the mouse on top of the ruler. Here you just place your pencil. You can define a locator section. You can also enter a value here. Let's say enter 20 for the left locator, and then 40 here, the right locator. You can also move the cursor to the left locator or the right locator. Now, you can also use the range to define a section using locator. For that, you need to go to Preferences and make sure under the Editing section you have Cycle Follow Range Selection checked. If that's checked, then you apply it. You can go to the Range tool, range a section here, and you can see the locator following the range. And then by using Option spacebar, the cursor will go and play whatever range selections you have. So do it again. I select this range selection here, Option spacebar, and my cursor will go to that section, defined section. With Nuage, you can use the DAW mode of this section here to assign key commands. For example, assign the Enter button to play in loop. So I can just select an event and it will play that event as a loop. So if I select another event here, for example, just push Enter, which is here or here. These two buttons are actually the same. This Enter button is this Enter button, so I can use this Enter button. Whether I want to do it from the left or the right, it's up to me. I can stop at any time. Also program 0 to move the locator to a selected event. For example, if I select this event here, press 0, the locator will go to that event. Just go on here, go here, and so forth. So I can actually navigate my channels and select this event here, bring the locator to this, press Enter, and just play that event. Nuage has two buttons for previous events and next events I can use to jump between different events within the selected track. Here's how you would manually position a locator with Nuage. I would position the cursor where I wanted to put the left locator at, and I will push Set Left, then position the cursor to the location I want the right locator to be, push the Set button, push Right, and just play that section. Finally, let's take a look at marker track for transport navigation. In this project, I have several marker tracks. I have dialogues, track selected. I can use the cursor to add a marker track, or the locator using the pencil here to define an entry and end points and add a cycle marker. I can navigate by double-clicking on a cycle marker or marker, and the locator will simply follow. I can also locate using the locate button here and select the marker I wanted to work with. I can also, using Shift N and B, to navigate between cycle marker on the track. Simply have to activate the tracks I want to navigate and select it. So I'll select this track, and using Shift N, I can quickly access a cycle marker or marker on that track. Go back to dialog, Shift N, B. I can also have a closer look by clicking on the E button on the inspector side. Select the track I want to work with, and use Shift N or B to navigate these tracks. With Nuage, the marker tracks are under the Transport section of the Master Unit Marker tab. You can then select the track that you want to engage, let's say dialog, and navigate that track very quickly.